So this is the we solving a regular triangle. That's not a right triangle, just a regular triangle. You need two formulas to solve it. One formula is called a law of cosines. It's three different formulas for that, but you're only using one each time, depending on what letters you got. And then another formula is the law of sines. This is easier to use than the law of cosines, but you can't use it unless you got two of the same letters. Now for this triangle, if you look at the corners, you got a big B, a big A, and a big C. The big letters stand for the angles. That's like how much each angle of the triangle is, the big letters. The small letters stand for how long the side of the triangle is. And if you notice, directly opposite of big C is little c. And directly opposite of big B is little b. And vice versa, directly opposite of big A is little a. So it got to be set up like that. You can put A, B, C wherever you want, just as long as you got the little letters directly opposite of it. And you're good. See, this is 6 pieces of information right here. So in the work that you're going to have, they always going to give you 3, and you got to figure out the other 3. And so the way you figure them out is these formulas right here. So everybody got these formulas written down? Okay, because I got to erase this. So this law of cosines formula, first one say a squared equal b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine of big A. This is the only big letter in the whole formula. And if you notice, if you start off with little a, you're going to end with big A. And if you use an A, then you're going to have B and C on the other side. And if you got B and C here, then you're going to have a B and C here. They all relate. So b squared, since it starts off with a little b, it's going to end with a big B. It's b squared equals c squared plus a squared minus 2ca cosine b. And then the last one is c squared equal a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine c. And then the law of sines formula is 3 different formulas, but you're only using 2 at a time. They got them all 3 equal to each other, but you really only use 2 at a time. And they say little a over sine big A, that's the same as little b over sine big B, which is the same as little c over sine big C. So the first example, let's say they gave you the 3 pieces of information. Remember, they only going to give you 3. You got to figure the other 3 out. So they give you little b. So they say little b is 4. And they give you big A. So big A is an angle, so it has to be represented as an angle. Let's say it's 46 degrees. And then they give you little c, which is equal to 8. So you notice that all 3 letters are different. You got little b, big A, and little c. So that means you can't use the law of sines. You can only use the law of sines when you got 2 of the same letters. Since you don't have 2 of the same letters, you got to go to the law of cosine. So if you remember what the law of cosine say, you got to pick which one got all 3 of these inside the formula. Usually when you look at the angle, it's the one that have the big A in it. So the first one of the law of cosines had the big A in it. And just to rewrite it, it's going to be a squared equal b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine A. And so plugging all this stuff in for it, you're going to have a squared. It's going to be equal to, what is b? B is 4, so it's going to be equal to 4 squared plus 8 squared, because c is 8, minus 2 times 4 times 8 times the cosine of 46. So questions on that? This is an 8 right here. Make sure I write it. So everybody see that? So we actually, if you got your calculator, you can put all of this in your calculator just as you see it. 4 to the second power plus 8 to the second power. So that's going to be 16 plus 64. But instead of doing it by pieces like that, you can put it all in your calculator at one time. So let me put it in there. If somebody beat me, just tell me what it is. Squared minus 2 times 4 times 8 times cosine. And make sure you calculate in degree mode. So what I got is 35.54. Is that what y'all got? So you got a squared is equal to 35.54. You want to get a, so how do you get rid of the square? What do you got to do to the other side? So you got to square root both sides in order to get rid of the square. So when you square root 35.54, you're going to get 5.96. So you got a is equal to 5.96. So that's one side you already got. So before I go into, so you got little a. Now remember, in order to use the law of sines, you got to have two of the same letters. Well, we already got them now. We got little a and we got big A. So you don't have to use the law of cosines no more, because you already got two of the same letters. So the law of sines, you want to go in order. So since we figured out what A is, then you can go and try to find the next one, which is B. And so let's say we was figuring out B, then that means you want to try to go and find C, which is the next one, and then go back to A. So using the law of sines say, let me write the formula down. It's going to be little a over sine big A. And since we're trying to figure out B, we're going to equal it to little b over sine of big B. And so little a is what? 5.96. So it's 5.96 divided by sine of 46. Yeah. And then that's equal to little b, which is 4 divided by sine of big B. Because the only thing we don't know in this whole equation is what big B is. And that's what we're trying to figure out. So first thing you want to do is you can cross multiply. Since this is a fraction equal to a fraction, you can cross multiply both sides. And when you cross multiply it, you're going to have 5.96 times sine of big B. That's when you bring the sine of big B over there. And on the other side, you're going to have 4 times sine of 46 when you cross multiply both sides. And we're solving for B, because that's the only letter we don't know. So everybody with me up to this step? Cross multiplication? Okay, since we want B, we want to get rid of everything on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by 5.96 so that I can get rid of it over here and move it to this side. And so right now I have sine B equal 4 times the sine of 46 divided by 5.96. So when I plug that in my calculator, or somebody can plug it in, the way you plug it in is you do 4 sine 46, hit equal, figure out what that is, and then divide it by 5.96. It should give you a number that's less than 1. You should always have a number less than 1 when you're doing that. I got it. Yeah, it should always be point something. What is it? Somebody else got that? Point, so it comes out to 0.48. Yeah, we just got and so we got right now we at sine B equal 0.48, because that's what all of this calculates out to. Well, first you hit 4 times sine 46, hit equal, and then divide it by 5.96. Because when you do it together, for some reason the calculator don't do it right. And so right now we at sine B equal 0.48, but we want B, so we need to get rid of sine. You can't divide by sine because it's a function. But what you can do is do an inverse. So what it's going to be is B equal sine inverse of 0.48. And you got an inverse button on your calculator. You got to hit the orange key to get to it. So somebody tell me what it comes out to when you hit sine inverse of 0.48. And you can round this to the nearest whole number, because it's a degree. So that's 29. So B comes out to 29 degrees. Questions on how we got B? Okay, let me pause. We need to find big C. We got little b, big A, little c, little a, big B. Mm-hmm.
At this point, could we just, since we have two of the angles of the triangle, couldn't we figure it out without having to do it?
Yes, you can. Because what does three angles add up to in a triangle? 180. You already got two of them. So all you got to do is add those two up, subtract from 180, and that'll give you the third one. So you got an angle 29, angle 46. So basically C is going to be whatever the difference of 180 minus the sum of those two. So 29 plus 46 is what? So the C would be 105. Big C would be 105. And that's all 6 pieces right there.